Welcome to Dualshock'd, the Brotherhood of Geeks PlayStation podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brett J. Rasmussen, and over here I got my other co-host,
Guru Blaze.
Yeah, what's up, Guru Blaze?
It's all up.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I know, been a minute, been a time. How you been doing, man? What's been going on? Talk to me. It has been a while. We haven't talked in a while, or at least here in a while.
I mean, mainly just work and playing games and drinking.
Drinking.
Yeah.
Doing the drinking.
Yeah.
Funsies.
That's just any given mixture of those.
Any mixture of those. Just...
Well, if there's something, I mean, what if I have a day off of work? Then I usually drink more and play more. If I work, then I get home and play less and have less time before I have to go to bed.
So drinking, no matter what, we're gonna make sure the drink.
Well, I just have a beer when I get home usually. I'm not some heavy alcoholic or anything.
Okay.
Like I was saying earlier, I don't
like this.
I'm indifferent about the fact that I am not a regular at any bar and never have been. And I find it so interesting to think about because I know a lot of the people in my town and it's a lot of them that I don't know especially, but you can just tell from conversation or if you're at a bar, those are regular, they come there every day or at least a couple times a week. It's just there's never any place where I would just be doing that. I just can't see myself in a position. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not judging it at all. But it's just I'm not a regular at any bar. I would just randomly go to one on a whim. And usually it's just to be there, maybe have a drink, smoke a cigarette, and leave.
I forgot that you smoked. I forgot that you still do.
Yeah.
I thought you got off of that. No?
I don't really want to.
What about the vaping?
I don't vape.
Oh, you're I'm too sophisticated.
Well, it's not even that. It's I've tried it in the past, and it's there are benefits to it in a way, more convenience benefits than anything. And in addition to the recent stuff that's happened with it, it's I don't know. I don't see it as being. It's honestly not any less expensive than cigarettes. Really, it isn't, because you get vapes, a bottle of vape juice is going to run you the price of a pack of cigs. Yeah, it may last longer, but you're also going through it way faster. And there's also it's also such a relatively when in comparison to cigarettes, which we know how cigarettes kill us. Vaping is just only been around for a couple of years, and the long-term health effects of it. I mean, especially there's people that have died from whatever, whether it's true or not. It's it hasn't been around long enough for me to trust it as an alternative.
Okay.
Because for all I know, it could kill me in some worse way. Whereas with cigarettes, I know I can know what to expect.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I love it that we went ahead and fell on that.
Plus, I don't ever have to charge my cigarette. And I don't have to pay $30 if I lose a Juul pod or whatever it is.
I mean, for me, I can't.
It's just there's so many options. Granted, cigarettes have a lot of different brands too, but it's it's all the same tobacco. Whereas with Juul pods and Juuls and vaping, it's there's so many different options and variances that you don't really know what could be or could not be going on and what you're and I think the reason that it is harmful to you is not so much with cigarettes, you have an intake of heated plant matter going into your lungs, which is just not good for you on a base level. But vaping, you're getting such a high volume in such a short duration at a much higher frequency than smoking a cigarette, where you take a hit, exhale, and you have one, right? But with a vape, you're getting these clouds of vapor that's just, and you're doing it all, just as often as you'd be hitting a cigarette, even more so sometimes, because it's just so much more convenient. It's the push of a button. And I think it's the volume at that huge volume of vapor combined with the high frequency at which you do it that ultimately will lead to problems in your lungs faster.
Okay. I don't smoke at all, so
I'm just saying that's my theory on like why.
That's why we call you Guru Blaze.
Exactly.
I love it that we're like, let's go ahead and talk about video games. No, we're going to talk about vaping and smoking.
Vaping simulator.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
You just reach up and just you just see smoke
You're
come
talking
out
about,
first person, first person.
No, it's the video game from South Park.
Or they could just build a vape into the motion controller, and you could just kill two birds with one stone.
No, we ain't doing that. No, we're not.
I mean, we're not doing it, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up in a couple months.
Oh my god.
See, I said it. It's been tracked and recorded, and someone's
Now
going
it's
to
gonna
steal
happen.
the idea.
Of course.
Because I don't have the,
the means.
I don't have the means, and nor would I have the inclination. I don't want to create something like that.
Yeah,
That's not what I want to be known for.
Yeah, because that makes total sense, Guru Blaze. Okay, but yeah, so I know you were not able to make it when we did our Game of the Year episode, the Christmas special.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, happy late Christmas to you, and happy New Year to you, Guru Blaze.
That'd be an early New Year.
Well, whatever. It'll probably go up.
Whatever.
Well, it'll probably go up by the time of New Year's.
Better not say that around Calendar Man. He'll get pissed.
I know, right?
I still find that hilarious that it's an actual Batman movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Calendar Man.
He has no real ability. He's just obsessed with the calendar.
Just ridiculously obsessed with.
Even Victor Zsasz is has that crazy, and he's ripped as shit, and he just kills people. But it's what is Calendar Man doing?
He cares about the days.
Why is he in Arkham Asylum?
I don't know.
What could he actually do to Batman, or really anyone off the street? More so than anybody that has a knife in their hand or something.
I don't know. Oh man, but so we kind of did our Game of the Year nominations, and then we gave our Game of the Year to Devil May Cry 5. That's our own Game of the Year, but we kind of did talk about the nominees and our opinions of them and why they're on the list. Spectre had some choice words for a few of them, because it's Spectre, because, of course. But I want to go ahead and bring this up with you. So we gave Game of the Year to Devil May Cry 5. Did you play that game at all?
I played 3/4. I own it. I just haven't beaten it. I haven't gotten to the very end of the game.
Okay.
But I played enough of it to be able to have an opinion on it.
And so, would you agree that it deserves Game of the Year?
I don't think it's Game of the Year.
Okay.
But it's it's really hard for me to pick things like that because there's a lot of good games that are coming out, and it's like I was saying earlier, I only buy a couple games, if that, any given year because in addition to my money and time, either the money to buy them, which isn't usually the issue, but more the time to play them, given that I already still have a litany of games that I've yet to finish that I already own. I think it's a phenomenal game. I definitely think it would be a contender. I don't know, I guess for me, because I love Devil May Cry. I love that style of fast-paced, hack and slash combat, and it's essentially perfected in Devil May Cry 5. But my personal taste has to play more into what I would pick as the best game that came out this year that I played, or at least was involved in enough to be able to make a sound decision on. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's Game of the Year. Okay. But it is definitely if not number 2 or up in the top.
Okay.
For sure top 5.
Okay.
No doubt.
Because after that, I'll just go down the list of nominees, and we kind of what we did is that we explained this in the Game of the Year episode, but what we did is that everyone who is part of the Brotherhood, every member who's been involved with the Brotherhood we pretty much put up votes and about what we thought was Game of the Year, and then those votes became the nominees, and then we voted together about what would be the Game of the Year overall, because all of us have our own opinions and what would be Game of the Year,
right?
But out of the choices of all right, I throw this one.
Well, yeah, you have to narrow it down, or
yeah,
it's just
because
again, it's like I said. I mean, I haven't played every game that's come out this year, and so you can't really have an unbiased. It's like you're basically you can't be unbiased if you don't know all the choices. So you narrow it down to ones that either are obviously contenders or at least ones that you've played, because then you have something to say about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the nominees that we had, so out of the whole list, because we had Devil May Cry 5 as Game of the Year, but we also had as nominees, we had Control, Death Stranding, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Mm-hmm. Now, I know earlier in the year, I don't know, you have talked about Sekiro and how much you were like, oh my god, this is Game of the Year contender right here. But then you've also talked about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order,
which I recently played and beat. But prior to that, because and we saw how that turned out. I mean, Sekiro won, but or at least the popular decision.
Which would you agree with Sekiro being the?
And I haven't played Control, though. I really want to, and I'm very interested. It's just I haven't picked it up yet. Again, like there's other games that I picked. Like I just started finally playing Witcher 3. Wild Hunt, which I've just started playing. I mean, I'm a little bit into it. I killed like 1 goblin or 2 goblins so far in the early stage, but I'm liking it. And then Fallen Order's phenomenal.
So me and Spectre talked about Jedi Fallen Order, and Spectre has very choice words for the new story of Star Wars, like the Disney era of Star Wars and that kind of thing. And he has boycotted EA, but because of all the high praise that this game has gotten, he actually has broken his boycott and has picked up Jedi Fallen Order and is playing through it. And that's all I know. But I haven't seen you in a bit, and I know that you talked about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Would you say that was, like, because I know I talked to you about before all of this, and I asked, like, okay, what was your Game of the Year, who plays? You were like, Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order. Would you still stick to that, or would you go with Sekiro?
It's hard to say, because I guess, I mean, I still have to beat Sekiro, and there's a lot more game to beat.
Yeah.
Like Fallen Order is far shorter in comparison. Mainly because it's also a lot less difficult, I would say. But it's like I almost want to say it's a tie for me.
That's fine, and that's okay.
Because it's like I don't like doing that, but the only reason it's a tie for me is because, well, 1, I like Star Wars. 2, I like Feudal Japan. And it's just like they're both very similar in like the way that the game functions, but it's like it's different in enough ways where it's really hard to compare. Like, say one's better because there's aspects of one that I like more than the other, but then it goes the other way.
Yeah,
like I think that, like I said, okay, so ultimately I think they're tied for first. But basically, I would say that Jedi Fallen Order. It's been a long time since I haven't beaten a game in a while just because I keep switching back and forth because I have too many.
Yeah.
But it's been a while.
The little thing on the table is annoying me.
It's been a while since I played a game where I just kept wanting to go home and play it and beat it within a week because I just played it enough to do that. And I love the combat system and the traversal and the free running aspect of it, and I like the story. I mean, I'm not going to say it's groundbreaking, but it was a cool story, and, it's like, that's the weird thing. It's like, because I haven't seen the new movie yet, but with the way that Disney sets up Star Wars, it's kind of like, you can't have a big story, really, in a game, I don't think. Like, because... At least that it takes place within the realm of the movies. You know what I mean? Like, the main continuity isn't affected
by this video game.
Yeah. Where, like, as another example, like Rogue One, which was a good movie.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cool stuff. I mean, it did fall in a place between movies where it was explaining how the plans were got. Everyone's dead by the end.
Yeah.
So it essentially also has no effect on the current timeline because even though it was made recently, it chronologically takes place like far before the Force Awakens timeline, and so therefore the only effect that it has is indirectly because it led to the Death Star blowing up, and but that stuff's been done and over with far before Force Awakens came out. So it's like I feel like Disney's never really gonna, outside of the Lego games, which really don't count because it's just basically based off of those movies.
Which, mind you, I love the Lego games. They're so much fun. I love it. It's great.
But so it's like I think Fallen Order had a really cool, interesting story. Like trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. Like that's a very and then obviously I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, I like the ending. I don't think they could have really ended it any other way without it having like continuity issues, or at least like you'd be thinking, well, like how is this happening out over here somewhere, and then the main continuity this doesn't, like this wouldn't, like they would have to.
It doesn't work. It doesn't match.
It's not that they don't, but they would have to collide at some time, which really you're never going to see, or I guess I say never, but like I very highly doubt you'll ever see, especially from Disney, a movie, a game story that's going to end up being referenced back to by the movie, because they know that if you hadn't played it, it won't mean anything. Even if it was like an Easter egg thing, that might be the best you could hope for.
Yeah.
But you can't focus a huge story into a game and then try to relate it back to a movie, knowing that a good portion of people that may see the movie will have not played the game, meaning that it's not going to have any meaning and it won't add anything to the story.
And hence why, we can even look into years ago, past games Obi-Wan, which is about how Obi-Wan became a Padawan.
I still need to see that series. I've caught up on
the Obi-Wan series of Disney Plus hasn't come out. I'm talking about there is a game called Obi-Wan back in the PS2, or actually it was only on Xbox. And
I would not have played.
But it was about him as a Padawan. It was him before Episode 1. It was before he kind of
Qui-Gon and stuff.
Not a bad game. It was fun. I enjoyed it when I was a kid. But you have KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, which is years and years and years and years and years before all of canon.
That's thousands of years.
Exactly. So
and I have played the first and second. I mean, I have to still go back and actually fully beat them because I was a huge chunk into the first one, and I started playing the second one. But then I had to my computer had issues, and I ended up having to get it fixed, and those save files were gone.
Yeah.
And I was just
well, I'm out.
Yeah.
But
I have to wait a year or a couple years until I've forgotten enough of this story.
Yeah.
Because it's a great game, but it's not I want to slog through all of the stuff that I recently remember.
Yeah.
Because it's just not gonna. And then I ended up going in with cheat codes and screwing around for a bit, and then I haven't sent.
Well, and that's what I mean. A lot of the games that came out under LucasArts, even Force Unleashed, it's during the same time frame. It's in the between Episode 3 and 4, where Darth Vader gets a secret apprentice.
Right.
It doesn't affect the movies, but it was a good story. I enjoyed it.
I love both of those games.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Fallen Order is essentially just Force Unleashed with Sekiro elements.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I mean, I really liked it, and honestly, I kind of, I thought it was
a better. It was a good. It was. I think it's a really good story for all of the garbage that's come before it.
And I think the biggest thing is that this game proves EA wrong.
Right.
This game proves EA wrong because they've been going all over and over and over again. We talked about on past Dualshock'd episodes where EA would go ahead and be like, "Oh, people don't want to go ahead and play single player games. They want immersive live experiences." Hence, Ultimate Team and Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2.
I don't even want to get into that.
But that's what I mean.
But
this game proves them wrong.
And it also proves that if they keep their dirty hands off of something, the people who actually know what to do when it comes to game development will make a good game because they have no idea what they're doing. They just have a bunch of money.
Yeah, which it's just let the developers do their work, and they'll make good games, and they already make tons of money off of Ultimate Team anyway, from FIFA and Madden. And then we had, we talked a little bit about this before, but Control. Control is such a different game. I played that game and I remember starting.
Yeah, I'm gonna be picking it up pretty soon.
It's really good. Like I remember picking up that game and I just was like, man, this game is weird, but I like it. This is odd and weird. And I don't know what this is, but that's good. I like that, and that's kind of why I picked it up and I played it, and it was really really fun. Do you have any thing about Control?
Honestly, I mean, it sounds like an awesome premise and an awesome game. I just don't have an opinion because I have not played it.
I get you. But Death Stranding, that's the
that I haven't played, but I've seen enough about it to basically might as well have played it.
Okay.
But I mean, it honestly looks really boring.
Really?
I mean, it could be.
Okay.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be something. Sorry.
No, you're good.
1 second, my underwear is.
Guru Blaze has problems and has to go ahead and fix himself.
I do.
I don't blame you. I get you. It's just what.
It doesn't go away until you.
Just got it.
All right.
You good?
Yeah.
You having problems anymore?
Nope.
No, I was just drinking.
And what were we talking about?
Death Stranding.
Right. So it looks. I mean, I would try it. It looks very artistic and like graphics look gorgeous. It seems like interesting. I like the creepy, weird aspects, the horror aspect of it. Like, but from what I've seen, it just all the. I've barely seen a single like really like people are saying like it's kind of like there's a lot of great amazing aspects to it, but like the gameplay is just kind of there's nothing really to do. Like, there's just lots of walking, a lot of clunky mechanics with vehicles, the whole backpack aspect to it. And not that would detract me from playing it, but based off of the, like, horror elements, which I'm much more interested in.
Of course.
I almost wish it would have just been released as more of a horror survival game than whatever it is.
Well, Kojima's weird. So.
Well, and that's fine. And like I said, like I'm not saying that like what he did is like not good. Like I think it's cool that he's trying to do something different, and like it's still like for all I know, if I play it, maybe I will enjoy. Like I said, there's a lot of aspects outside of the gameplay, or I guess there's some combat in it, but not really at all. Which is like you don't need. I guess it's like I'm biased because I like fighting in a game, or whatever type of fighting it might be. But you don't need that necessarily. Tetris doesn't have fighting, and I have fun playing that. But I guess for me, it's like with a game with all of that high fidelity graphics and the story, it seems like when all you're doing is essentially just playing an errand boy for whatever reason. It doesn't really appeal to me as much. I think that if they would have gone into the direction of like making it. And again, until I play it, I can't have a definitive opinion, but I feel like if it were to made more of because there's creepy aspects to it. I think if they would have focused more on it being like a Silent Hill-esque, because then you can be super minimalist. Like they're really in the first couple Silent Hills, you're not even really doing that much combat at all. But it's like all about you do a little bit here and there, but it's more about the exploration, which I feel like this game is more focused on than anything else. Is just the world in which you and the story. Yeah. And they got, all of these huge names in it. And likenesses and everything. I think it would have done far better commercially or critically, whatever it might be, if it were like more focused on the survival horror aspect of it.
I get you. Yeah, like the game is very much a different style of game. And it is odd. It is very different, and what I've come to find out from the reviews and everything is that it very much either you're gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. There is no in between. It's either you love it or you're not. And I liked it. I very much. It's not like my favorite, but. It was different and odd, and that's what kept me going.
And that's why I would want to play it because I know it is like a different experience. But it's like I don't want to pay $60 for that.
Yeah,
because I know it's not going to be worth it. Like I'm not going to get into it to such an extent that I want to pay full price when I know I can eventually get it cheaper and still have the same experience.
And then Sekiro, which I think you've kind of talked about a lot.
I mean, I think Sekiro probably has one, like, to date, probably one, if not the most perfected third-person combat system I've ever seen.
Okay, yeah.
It's just so robust with so many options and, like, aspects to it that are complex in a way but work seamlessly together because it's more about just your timing and your observation than anything, which is what they've all been. But, like, you know,
this one specific.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you know, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, they have really good combat systems too, and they're different. Like, this one's a much more stealth focused.
Of course.
But they basically took what made those other ones good and just added a bunch of, you know, aspects to it that allow the, you know, instant kills and, you know, posturing and all that stuff. It's just like a very, I don't know. I think it's essentially a flawless combat system.
Yeah,
and I think that's in addition to the traversal, like when, you know, and I was thinking about it, you know, being that that's obviously one of the other main aspects of the game is the whole, like, you know, Ninja Spider-Man aspect. You know, when you dedicate an entire button to one function, that essentially will tell you how important it is in the game. And the grappling hook has its own button, and there's nothing else it does.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, but so you would probably go like Sekiro or Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, I honestly could take either as game of the year because it's just like I like them both so much for both the same and some different reasons. It's just I couldn't pick one over the other without feeling like it would be the wrong decision. And I think that, like I said, Sekiro has, I think, more technical achievement in its mechanics, and I think Jedi Fallen Order is a little bit more approachable, but still allows you to enjoy those mechanics, and it has the Star Wars aspect to it, which, you know, it's basically Sekiro in the future. You know.
So yeah, well, that's good. That's good. I wanted to talk to you about that because you weren't able to make it to our Game of the Year episode. So I'm glad that we were able to discuss that. But let's go ahead and move on to our PlayStation conversation.
PlayStation.
So, what I wanted to talk about is that this is the final episode of 2019. We did our Game of the Year. We gave it to Devil May Cry 5. So let's kind of talk about the highs and lows of 2019. And I'll be discussing that with Spectre also, but it would just be me and Spectre, and it will just be me and you. So you and I are going to talk about it, and then I'll be talking about it with Spectre. So, where do you want to begin? Do you want to start with the low? Do you want to start with the high?
How about you start?
So I'm going to start with a low, and this was definitely a low because you were here for it. Anthem.
Oh yeah.
Just everything about Anthem.
There's a reason it was $5.
Oh my. Yeah.
During Black Friday.
Yeah, dude. Like it's. Wow, like
I mean, I don't even recall a game like just becoming so depreciated so fast. Brand new, $5.
$5. Jesus Christ.
Like it's like you basically couldn't even give them away.
No,
people just didn't want anything because there's. I mean, and I don't even want to. I'm not even going to get into why because we all know.
We did a whole review on it.
Yeah, so but suffice to say, it's like. It became so like reviled just because there was nothing redeeming about it, and then it basically was like, oh, we're gonna fix things, and then just nothing.
And then they didn't.
Yeah, and then nothing happened. They just basically said, oh, we're not giving up, and then they did. Essentially, like it just was just left to die.
Oh my god, oh Jesus.
And it's like, again, it has cool mechanics, and it was like a fun, you know, there was fun aspects to the game, but it's just like it's a game where. You after like an hour or so, you're just gonna be like, "What's the point of any of this stuff that I'm doing?" Like the story was not that interesting. To be able to have this like the same mechanics all the time. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's like Destiny's a pretty fun game with a good story, But that has a lot, there's a lot more to the story's personality in Destiny, I think. But there's also a far more choice and, chance, like with like weapons and stuff that you get. And I think that there's a lot of aspects of Anthem that we're basically trying to do that same kind of thing as like what Destiny had achieved.
Yeah.
Or at least Destiny 2, because I never played the first one.
Destiny 1 was okay, but Destiny 2 really came into its own. And honestly, like, when it left Activision, that's when I feel like that it finally became the Destiny that all the fans liked, including myself.
It just I don't know, like it's a game where you would feel like playing it is more of a chore than an enjoyable experience after a fact.
And like we talked about it like in our review where like the
game, even if it had perfect connection issues and lower loading times, it's like you're still like there's really no incentives.
No.
To keep playing it because it really won't do anything that's drastic. There's not really any change in tone or the environment.
Yeah.
And like I said, this like the story. It's not like it's not like the worst story that there's ever been in a game. I'm sure, but it's just very blasé.
Yeah.
I feel like, but I also feel it's like. Because they kept touting like that they had BioWare's staff working on it and stuff, because Mass Effect's a great story. But it's also like you can't compare a game that's meant to be beaten in a couple days to like Mass Effect, which was like multi-disc game with a huge amount of despite its being older.
Well, also like Anthem went through development hell.
Right.
Like they got the head of BioWare, I believe it's Casey Edwards, I believe. But like he left BioWare years ago, or he left. Whoa, hello. But he left BioWare. And then he came back because EA and BioWare was like, please, we need help. We're screwed. And like tons of people started leaving the project before the game even came out. Like that game, like, and then like the just the corporate higher ups getting their hands into it and kind of just instead of letting them make a game, they needed to get the game out. And then what we saw at E3, I believe it was 2017, like the reveal of Anthem. Which was like you go into the hub and you see these big huge walkers and things flying past you and whatever. Like that trailer, that demo looked nothing at all. Not even close to what the game looked like when it came out this year. Like, oh my god! Like what a botch! Like just what a botch!
I think it was just a wasted opportunity. But then it's like again, you can't. It's because it was forced to come out before it was ready.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a complete game, and then, you can't expect people to keep buying a game when it get because it even before it amassed such an odious reputation, because of that eventually became a deterrent to buying it in and of itself. Like you just knew the Anthem was trash. You didn't play games. You just knew this huge. But it's like even prior to that being like a solidified thing, when it comes out and it's essentially not done or there's really not enough there to warrant, paying for the game full price and maintaining online because you would need it to play with all the loading issues it had and getting knocked out of parties or whatever other issues, which again is because it was forced to come out before it was meant to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been a much better game if, like, if time were given to be able to have it been properly developed. There could have been more to it.
Yeah.
But it's like Miyamoto said. It's like a bad game will be bad forever.
Yep.
And so you might as well wait and just take your time to come out with a good game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess EA
like Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah. Jedi Fallen Order is a good game, and like I give props to EA for letting them make the game. I just hope they listen. I just hope they listen and just let these things happen. But again, EA's track record is very poor.
I think Fallen Order is essentially going to force them to eat their own words, and if they don't, pay attention to obvious evidence, then eventually they're just gonna fail.
Well, yeah. So anyway, but that was a low. Let's go to a high. So what was a really good video game moment that you can think of that happened this year?
When I got the double lightsaber in Fallen Order.
Okay. Like that was
what? That's a moment.
I mean, again, you're not wrong, but okay. I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
When I mean, playing Sekiro for the first time, like, it was awesome because it's like I love stealth games and it's had a bunch of it had a lot of different aspects of things that I like in one piece or one package.
So when Sekiro came out and playing that game, that was
yeah, because I pre-ordered it. So,
okay.
And like it was just everything I wanted it to be: ancient feudal Japan, stealth, awesome combat, traversal. It was dope. It is dope. I still have to beat it. But, now I'm on a different boss that I can't beat.
Now you're on a different boss that you can't beat.
Or at least, I tried him a couple times, but yeah, I know it's. I'll have to just keep trying at that.
Okay.
I really like Persona 5. I know that did that come out this year?
That came out last year or 2 years ago. But they're making a
the
Royal Edition.
Well,
in
I
2020.
picked it up cheap. I got the regular version, and I've been really enjoying that.
Okay.
Because it has an amazing soundtrack and an art style.
So yeah. But let's talk about. So is it like what else do you? Let me talk to you about this because I haven't talked to you about this. The Xbox Series X that got announced at the Game Awards. What did you think? What's your opinion? Because now we are on the cusp. Like we are going into next gen in 2020. Like we are going to be going through and like we're gonna be talking about that in our most anticipated. But like we're going into next gen next year. Like we are getting ready for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
Which is let's first just start off with the fact that the name is extremely blasé and uncreative. And it's also like, why would you call that the Xbox Series X when the Xbox One X was literally the most prior console? Like you're literally using one different word and the same designation. There's so many other places you could have gone with it.
So I think what they're doing,
I guess PlayStation kind of has it easy because they started out with just using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But with
plus the fact that a 5 looks symmetrically like an S, and it just like I just wonder if this was always the plan.
I know you always bring that up about how like design and stuff should look.
Well, think about that though. Like when you said the PS5, like the 5 and the S like are almost.
I get you. Yeah.
Especially with the style of font that they use, it makes it almost look.
Which, speaking of, what did you think of the look? Just like the kind of
remember when I described what I thought when I had that weird mandala thing about what the PS5 looked like?
Yeah,
it's very similar in a lot
with
of
the
ways.
Xbox One with
the PS5. Remember?
Oh, the whole with the pen thing?
When I described what it looked like.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that, but like, okay, but mind you, those are prototypes. Those aren't the actual thing.
Right, well, and what I remember seeing is different, but it did have the touch activation, which I said. But no, I think the PS5 aesthetically blows that.
Well, that's not the box. What I'm talking about is, what did you think of the look of the Series X?
It's a box.
Because that's what...
It's a box.
But it looks like an Amazon Echo. It just looks like...
I don't have any... I'm indifferent about it, I guess. It looks like a PC. It looks like a PC.
Okay.
With less custom bells and whistles on it.
So
I hear a lot of people joking at work and just calling it the mini fridge and stuff. And then I said, well, maybe if it had a built-in mini fridge, we'd be talking here.
So you very much are like either blasé or like, no, I'm not done with this.
It doesn't. Like I said, I'm indifferent. It doesn't really. If I wasn't planning on getting Xbox next console anyway.
Okay.
Because I would just put that money into making my PC better, which essentially would have the same effect.
Well,
because that's always my main reason of like why I would buy a PlayStation over an Xbox, because especially now, there's nothing that I can't get on PC that would be on an Xbox.
Yeah.
It's all Windows, and especially now, because like I don't have Xbox like, or at least not the new one. I have a 360,
Mm-hmm.
but like with Game Pass also being on PC,
Yeah.
what purpose is there to having the console when you could just keep upgrading your PC, which will still be more powerful than anything they're going to come out with if you fork up the same amount of money that you would be paying for that for parts for your PC. It would be better, and it would also still be a PC, which has far more functionality than the console, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, then essentially it's just an Xbox PC. Eventually,
I feel like that's where they're going, though.
well,
I feel like
there's
that's
nowhere
what's
else to
going
go
on.
because that's how games are made. So, since the beginning, games were created on a PC. So, its graphical dominance and power will always maintain itself.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the modular nature of a PC, being able to just swap out new parts.
Yeah.
As opposed to a console, which you really can't do that without a lot of technical know-how, and even then, it's probably not like designed to take what you would want to put in it.
Yeah.
I don't. There's exclusives and things that are going to be available only on the PS5, which are not available on anything else. Whereas, like I said, there's no point in me wanting to buy an Xbox console when a PC with the same amount of money put into it would be able to play everything that it's going to come out for it at probably even a better, because eventually it's just, you can't keep improving a console's functionality without it eventually just becoming a PC. Because the PC's, it's always going to be better. It's how games are created, again.
Yeah.
So it's like there's nothing that's going to be better than what you need to, because what you design it on has to run it perfectly so that you're able to be able to design it.
Yeah. The rumor is that, and I talked about this, I think we talked about this during E3, I think I also brought this up during when we did the watch along of the Game Awards, but the rumor is that they were going to make two versions. They were going to make a new Xbox that's equivalent to the X, so it's meaning, not equivalent in power, but meaning it's the most powerful version of the next-gen system. It's the highest stuff, best tech, top everything. And then they were going to make a normal version, like maybe the Series S, that is going to be cheaper, not as powerful, not as...
So what's the point?
Because the thing is, because I think they want to keep with that whole...
How much cheaper can you make it without it essentially not being worth
The way
buying when you could just buy like the Xbox One, the current system?
Well, the way I see it is that, the Xbox, let's say for instance, hypothetically, the Series S, I think would be equivalent to maybe a better version of the S, like the Xbox One S, but not as powerful as the X. So it'd be that weird in-between between the power of the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X.
Which is, again, I don't know why they decided to call it Series X. It's just like...
But I think that's the reason, though. Series X and Series S.
Okay.
That's why. That's the rumor that's been happening before the
If they
name.
come up with one after that, it's going to be the Series X2 or what?
Maybe MX. I don't know. I don't know.
SX.
Maybe. Who knows? The Slim X.
The Xbox One XS.
Yeah, who knows? But I don't know. But so you were very nope, I'm not down.
Well, I just didn't have an interest in getting it in the first place. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't find anything about it bad or whatever. But it's again.
He's so blasé that he's already going out of camera shot. He's just just gonna just be.
Well, I don't know. It's like I said, I don't see any real benefit to purchasing a system like that, given that there's really nothing on Xbox that I want to purchase a system to play, and because unless they were to make console exclusive games, that would really be the only thing. But even then, it's like, other than Forza, Gears, and Halo, there's really not too much else that they have in their arsenal.
Well, did you see they are doing Hellblade 2? Hellblade's the newest saga, and that's going to be
Hellblade.
Yeah, Hellblade. It was made by Ninja Theory. It's on PS4.
You're talking about Ninja Blade?
No. Hellblade. It's made by Ninja Theory.
Yeah, I know.
Who made it for the PS4 and Xbox One because they were a AA studio. It was them funding it and them making it. It was about a 6 to 8 hour game. Very, very good. It came out.
Wait, yeah, no, I remember. I haven't played that one. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, it was the one about
how
psychosis.
Senua Sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah, I still have to play that one.
They're making a sequel to that.
that one I forgot about.
Like, there's even a really they showed the trailer at the Game Awards for that game, and it's like it's for the Xbox
still waiting for
Series
Ghost of
X.
Tsushima.
That's
what I'm waiting
I can't
for.
wait for that. That's going to be good. But that's going to be a sequel. But like I was talking to this about with Spectre, but like that's a very good opening. If Hellblade 2, Halo Infinite, and then a third one, and maybe it'll be something I don't know. But like just those two, that's a really good start point. Where Godfall is a PS5 exclusive. And it's like a hack and slash looter.
Then we got Elden Ring or whatever.
Elden Ring we haven't heard anything about. So hopefully we're gonna hear more
I'm
about
waiting
it.
for that though.
Yep. But like, let's go ahead and move on to that, because one of the highs that I think would be this year is just PlayStation doing the State of Plays, which is a PlayStation Direct. You know.
Basically.
So yeah, what do you think? Like, because I know you and I have been here for a few of the State of Plays. Like, what did you think? What do you think about kind of PlayStation going in this route, doing State of Plays, and this is kind of becoming like the way they want to release?
I think it was inevitable that they would start doing it, because ultimately, like, if they don't try, or at least make it seem like they're trying to communicate directly with the people that make them all their money, which is the customer, then they would have continued to just, despite whether or not people like them as a company or their products, they just would seem like cold as a company. And you know, it's also, just from a business standpoint, a smart way to be able to capture more information about, you know, generate buzz. It's just marketing, you know.
Yeah.
It honestly just makes sense from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
Because it not only makes people aware of upcoming stuff, but it'll get people talking about it, and then they can observe, you know, what games are going to be the most anticipated.
Yeah.
You know, and just basically able to gain that much more information about the next fiscal year, essentially.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I'm actually very happy that State of Plays do exist. I think that's a really good tactic, along with, but I think, to go with the lows is that I think maybe it's because our expectations are too high, but, like, with the State of Play, like, they show a bunch of indie games, they show, like, which are fine, which is needed. But there's a lot of stuff that's on State of Play outside of Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, in the most recent ones, that people are excited about. And I think PlayStation kind of needs to, like, figure out a way to get people excited about State of Play, which I feel that Nintendo does a better job with. Regardless, because, like, they do the little skits, whether it's in the past it was with Reggie, now they have Doug Bowser, which has been really good. And just the presentation of the Nintendo Directs have honestly been, I think they've been accepted better. Where with PlayStation, I really like kind of the gimmick where, like, when it starts, it's turning on the system, so you just see a line, and then it lights up white, blue, like you're turning on a PS4, and then it goes to this XMB bar like screen, and it scrolls through them, which is good. I actually like that kind of aesthetic. But the thing is also is that the games you announce, or that they have announced, have kind of just been okay. Like, I remember when Last of Us Part 2, they announced that, and they announced the date. They announced the launch date for that, which was awesome. And it was a really good trailer and a really good demo because it was more based on the story, which was great. But, like, outside of that one part, it was, like, the rest of that State of Play was just okay. Even the most recent one, the one they did before the Game Awards, like, it was fine. It was okay. They showed off Untitled Goose Game, and then at the end they showed a tiny little bit of Ghost of Tsushima, and then they were like, okay, go watch the Game Awards. And like that was the one for their 25th anniversary, and they had pretty much the creator of the PS1. He said a few words, and that was it. Like, why didn't you do like a 3 to 4 minute, 5 minute max montage of PlayStation all throughout the whole years? Like, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. Another low that I would want to bring up, and we've talked about this when we were getting prepared for E3, is PlayStation didn't show up at E3. PlayStation straight up and down were like, we're not going to be at E3. And I understand business sense why they did that, but this 2020, they have to show up. At least for 2020. If they don't show up at E3 to just announce their system, announce everything, and do it, this has to be a spectacle for that. If they don't show up at E3, I think there's going to be problems. Where with this past year, I really did feel like there was something missing to E3 this year, and I think that was a poor decision on their part to just not be there. What do you think?
I mean, again, it's a business decision. There's something. I mean, you could say that there's something to be said for the marketing aspect and the value that you get from going on E3. But if they weren't gonna really have any true benefit to showing up there, then why would they put all the money and resources into setting up everything? Because that costs money, all that stuff that they got to do.
Of course.
And the other thing is that also when they did that, focused the attention on them almost exclusively. It's almost by not going, they were more in the limelight than the other two competitors were because they weren't there. So it was like, well, what are they going to do because they're not there?
Okay. Well, I mean, but I think with these new systems, I think they need to be there. Or if they do, they need to make they could make PAX or Tokyo Game Show really special.
I feel like they're going to have to show up somewhere for the PS5 because they're going to want people to see.
Well, there is a rumor going around that they're going to do a repeat of what they did in 2013, meaning that in February they're going to be doing a PlayStation event somewhere, sometime, and they're going to announce the PS5. They're going to do a big event.
And then they wouldn't even really need to go to E3 at all.
Well, I think it's because I remembered that year. The E3 2013 was a banging show for, it was great for them. Xbox crapped the bed when they announced their system 3 weeks to a month before E3 and then they went first on I believe it was Monday, the big day, so it was 4. So Xbox went first, and they were still just TV sports, TV games, TV sports games, barely talking about it. And then PlayStation comes out and goes, and Xbox talking about DRM policies and always online and stuff like that, and PlayStation goes, no, you can just play the system normally. You can trade the games normally. Game, and knocked the crap out of Xbox. Just took all of the wind out of their sails outside of what Xbox already did to themselves. So I think if they don't show up at E3, I think they're going to be losing a massive opportunity. But we can discuss this more when we get closer. But I do think that them not being at E3 is definitely a low. Because I think still being present there, you don't have to do a press conference, that's fine. But I think having a presence there is still important. What else? Oh, Days Gone. Let's talk about Days Gone. Because that game
I still haven't played it.
You still haven't played it.
Well, like I said, I don't go out and buy terribly many games because I already just own so many. It's one I plan on playing again. But it's a lot of these games have such a huge time investment. It's I just don't have the time to buy a game that I'd have to switch between them or I'll never get any of them played.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I like Days Gone. Me and Sodium Bromide went ahead and reviewed it, and we enjoyed it. We really liked it.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard it. It looks fun, and I've heard good things.
Like, it's a good, solid game. It's not Game of the Year. I definitely wouldn't say that, but it's a good, fun game, I would definitely say. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else that you would kind of want to talk about, like, highs and lows of 2019?
That's pretty much it as far as, like...
God, that's barely anything.
Well, I mean, but there's not a lot of things that because highs and lows is relative.
Well, duh. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here to talk our like opinions. So,
what we went over, right? I mean, I can't offhand think of anything that like made a huge mark on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, yeah, like PS4, or PlayStation not being at E3, Anthem is garbage. Like, I mean, there was a lot of good games that came out this year too.
But there were also a lot of bad games too.
Right, but I don't play bad games, so that's the thing.
Yeah,
because I can usually tell right away whether, because it has to be interesting first of all, which like it depends. Like the only other game that I believe came out this year that I really like right now is what was it? Just gotta get this subtitle right. It's Mutant Year Zero.
Okay.
Road to Eden, which is essentially like a real-time stealth XCOM hybrid.
Okay.
Which I really like. And the story's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like the other thing, I think it's kind of becoming a constant. I think we have beaten this dead horse and probably won't stop. But like all just how microtransaction crazy.
Yeah.
The publishers have been, and we've talked about it in past episodes. We've been beating this dead horse, and we probably still will next year. It's not going to stop. But that has been, honestly, I think like that has been a big thing this year, especially. Just kind of the rise of microtransactions and just...
Started with Battlefront 2.
But I think...
That's basically the catalyst.
Well, I think it goes back to...
Well, that was the catalyst that, like, made it into a big deal.
Yeah.
I feel like... It was like a thing before then, but that was like what solidified the conversation on it, what it is,
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I think there's just a lot that has been going on this year. I think there have been bad games. We talked about Anthem. There have been other like good games that some reviewers have disagreed on, like Days Gone. We talked about that. I don't know. It's been a really weird year. I mean, another thing that I could definitely think of is that Fallout 76 is still like they haven't done anything to fix. Like they added the $100 subscription to called Fallout First, and it's just been a mess. I can't.
I don't play it. So
no, I know you don't play bad games. I get you, and it's just I don't know. It's been crazy. It's been nuts. It's been hectic. It's been I don't know. Kind of overall, what do you think of 2019?
I think that there's room for improvement, but we're definitely on the right course. Because, like I said, I think that there were far more good games than bad games that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Just overall. Like the quality of games is, getting to really great heights. And I think the thing I think I'm seeing that I'm most glad to see is that it's become less of, not that it's not something you should be focusing on too when designing a game, but graphical fidelity has become less of like the main reason. Like that's not enough anymore.
No, it's not.
Like
hence Fortnite is the most
right.
popular video game.
Right.
And like it's
and
not,
but it's meant to look cartoony, and that's
but that's what I mean. Like it is graphically appealing. It's graphically appealing in its aesthetic. But if we're talking about how real it is, no, there are games that look much prettier than that game.
Right, that are older than that game.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think what I'm glad to see that a lot of focus is going more into mechanics and story and atmosphere and music and like all of the other things that really immerse you in the game, because obviously graphics do that too, depending on what type of game you're playing. but after you get used to seeing things, like it's everything else that brings you into the world more. Like, sight may be most of how you play a game, but it's like what you hear and the mechanics that draw you into the game, and like I think it's becoming more and more focused on to do those things, like in a game like Sekiro, where like so much time and effort must have been put into that combat system.
Yeah.
Like, in addition to how gorgeous it looks and the music and everything else, or like in Fallen Order, same thing, great music, visuals obviously were great, but like the story and the characters were good, and the fundamentals of the combat and the traversal, it's like that is what is the most important thing, I think, now, because we've gotten to a point where graphics are only going to be improving by increments at this point.
Very small.
Yeah. Because it's, you could just say, oh yeah, 8K, whatever you want to play it on, but it's like most things aren't to that level. And even if they are, a video game, I mean, eventually if it got to look as real as a movie, great, but then it's like you can only get so far with graphics. Like, because, back in the day, graphics would be something on the box art. That would be a reason to buy it, is how good it looked.
Yeah, of course.
But now, everything, there's, like, with all the resources, it's like, you virtually, outside of purposeful choice, have no reason that your game shouldn't look great. It's now about how does it play, and how does it immerse you in its play.
Yeah, like, for instance, like, I think, like, we can look at games that are popular just even among kids. It's not...
Like Dungeons and Dragons.
But, like, it's games like Bendy, Five Nights at Freddy's, Fortnite, like Apex. These are games that are... I mean, I think Apex out of all of them is probably the most graphically... like
definitely
highest, but like what I'm talking about though is especially those first three, those ones specifically. Like are they graphically appealing? Yes, but do they have the highest amount of graphics? No. I would definitely say that there are games that come out, but it's a stylistic choice and the way it's done, and like, but I also think it's also the aspect of people like us, YouTubers who stream it and play it, and like really now like people like us, you and me, are kind of leading the way of what games people want to go towards. If we say that a game is bad, like Anthem, people might not even touch it, might not even play it. Or like games like Days Gone, where we definitely enjoyed it, but there are other reviews who say that it was bad.
I haven't played it. But again, that for me, like, because I get what you're, and like, you can get your, from whatever source you get where you might want to go with your gaming, like, Game Ranks or whoever might, like, put out, like, before
IGN, GameSpot, Polygon, but that kind of thing.
Ultimately, I personally think that until I've played it, there is no one, there's no decision being made for me. Like, I could, sometimes I'll bypass even playing a game because it doesn't sound interesting, even if it did do everything it says, and if it's not interesting off of the premise, it doesn't matter how good the gameplay is. I'm not going to have any investment in wanting to play it.
So what would be an example of that for you?
Like...
Look at me putting him on the spot. Yay.
You mean that's out?
Yeah. Or maybe a game that you're...
I don't know. Any sport game?
So, like Death Stranding, you're not interested in that because...
Well, it's that, I don't know if that's a good example, because it seems interesting, but it's like...
But you're not going to pick it up.
I'm not at this point. Not at its current price point.
Okay.
Like, when it becomes so cheap that it's like, sure,
So what would that be? 5, 10, 20?
I'd probably pay like $15 for it. Maybe 20.
Okay. Like, which by that time, like, the game has already made its money.
Right.
It's already, yeah, so.
Because it's not like the experience is going to be lessened by playing.
No, of course not. But all I'm saying is, like, so you're very picky about picking up games day one. Right?
Yeah. I like a game. I mean, unless I know for sure that I'm going to like it regardless, I usually, like, wait till it's been released and I, hear different, opinions on it before I, because not that I wouldn't be able to make my own decision, but it's like I want to kind of see more of the actual finished product before I would pay $60 for it, and then not be able to get that money back because I didn't do my research on it after it came out.
Yeah, I get you. But yeah. I mean, there has been a lot of highs and lows of this year. I mean, I really can't think of any. I'm kind of thinking, but I think 2020, and I've been saying this for a while, but I think 2020 is going to be a very fascinating, very interesting, and very exciting year in video games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I can't wait for that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Please let us know what you guys think. What did you like about the year 2019? What did you not like about 2019?
Do you think Hideo Kojima is gonna open mouth kiss Miyamoto on the face on the next E3?
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Want to talk about putting the internet into an uproar?
I don't even. Is that your goal?
No, I just.
Is that what you plan on doing?
I'm just trying to think of the most ridiculous and outlandish thing off the top of my head.
Of course.
If that happened, can you even imagine?
Oh my god!
Like, I can't even imagine what the internet landscape would be like.
Oh man!
That would never ever go away.
Oh my god! Oh my god, that's crazy.
Not that either of them would do that or have anything against anybody who would. I just felt that was the most outlandish thing I could think of.
Okay.
Mario featured in the next Death Stranding game.
Oh man. But guys, please let us know what you guys thought. This was a good year. This was definitely a good year. But guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/Brotherhood of Geeks. Press the bell icon. That way, whenever we put up a video, we put up a video. Like, share, tell everyone you know. Tell everyone you know about us.
Tell everyone you don't know.
That too. Definitely that.
Just go out on the street corner. And just shout through a megaphone.
Yo, watch Brotherhood of Geeks on YouTube.
What's that? Doesn't matter.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Figure it out.
Just do it.
I believe in your adult brain. You can figure it out.
I believe in the you that believes in the me that believes in you.
Yeah, that'll be your wrestling persona there.
From Gurren Lagann.
You'll be Ginger Kamina.
Ginger Kamina. There you go.
But instead of sunglasses, you'll just have regular glasses that are shaped
like that. Yeah, that would make sense. Please go ahead and follow us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/The Brotherhood of Geeks. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dualshock'd BOG. That's the name of our PlayStation podcast, Dualshock'd BOG. And then you can also follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Brotherhood of Geeks. I almost lost my brain there. And I think we covered all of the places you can follow us. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to have you back here, man. It's been a long time.
Oh no,
it's been a long time.
It's always fun to do.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna be getting ready for 2020. Happy New Year to you guys. Are you ready for 2020? Are you ready for? Are you ready for like Final Fantasy VII remake coming out? And
I have that, Cyberpunk, and Last of Us 2 currently pre-ordered. Those are my pre-orders right now.
Yeah, I already got my collector's edition for that. And for me personally, I'm looking forward to Darksiders Genesis. I
still need to play 3 I
have
it downloaded from.
You don't like 3.
Oh, I'm sure. I love the first 2.
I know. You're gonna adore 3 then.
I actually like. In addition to the gameplay, I like the story.
Me too.
Honestly. The story was very interesting.
Oh yeah.
But that's I'm gonna get on that. But now I'm on The Witcher, so that's
so you're going to be playing that until what, March? Right?
I mean, I have that and other games. I still have
to
start Resident Evil 2 remake, which I picked up.
Are you getting Resident Evil 3? Resident Evil 3 comes out.
I never actually played either of them in my youth.
But like Resident Evil 3 remake is coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. Funsies, and then
I like Resident Evil. So.
Well, there's Iron Man VR that's coming out in February.
VR.
No, you should fix that.
Yeah, well, why don't you just give me $300? I'd rather buy.
Well, why don't you just come over here?
I guess, but I'd rather buy a graphics card for $300 than a VR headset that I'm only going to use occasionally.
Only occasionally.
Yeah.
Just only occasionally. Okay.
I mean, if I do get it, the first game I want to get is Beat Saber because it looked really fun.
Oh man, yeah, and I would get that along with the Green Day music pack because you can play Green Day on Beat Saber.
Yeah,
That makes me happy.
I mean, I like Green Day, but I'd probably listen to lots more techno.
Oh, okay.
EDM.
Okay.
That would be my with that aesthetic of game.
You and Spectre will probably get along fine then with that because he likes that weird stuff.
Weird stuff. I think Green Day's weird stuff.
You're just wrong.
Yeah, but your opinion on what's weird and what's not is also subjective.
Okay, whatever, Guru Blaze.
Plus, you could find I bet you could find an electronic remix of every Green Day song that there is.
Probably.
Yeah.
I love it that we fall down these holes and it just happens.
We live in a hole.
Yeah.
It's just getting deeper. That's the difference.
Of course. Great. So, guys, go ahead and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Thank you so much. Is there anything else, Guru Blaze?
Nah.
You look like you're dying.
I'm tired.
Great. Okay. I'm Brett J. Rasmussen.
I'm Guru Blaze.
And as always, live the play together. We'll see you guys next time.